and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Okay, so I want to do a little tech news. Like today, it's like, oh my God, I'm doing all these weird stories, aren't I? Oh my God, look at that. Oh my God. So this has to do with Amazon, everyone's favorite monolith. And the story is called Why You Should Stop This Dangerous Update to Your Amazon Account. So Amazon has decided in their infinite wisdom, of course, I'm sure it has nothing to be connected with their Jeff Bezos connection to the CIA and other organizations. I'm sure it's nothing, completely separate, won't affect it at all. Anyway. Cybersecurity experts are warning Amazon customers to beware of a new update being rolled out to the company's smart devices installed in millions of homes that are already installed. There you go. The plan is for customers to share their home broadband with neighbors to make their devices work more effectively and over long distances. It's sort of like creating a bunch of TIF districts, but on a house-to-house level. Mm-hmm. This new account setting will be on by default, and that's very important. So if you look at it this way, just with like organ donating, so if you die in an accident, you know, you always have the, will you donate your organs? Mm-hmm. If the U.S., small thing, just flipped it to an opt-out rather than an opt-in, which it has, I think there'd be 20% more availability of organs just because of that one question and how it's asked. These opt-in, opt-out questions are enormous because most people don't ever pay attention to them and just go with whatever the default is when they're asked big questions. And so by doing this effectively, Amazon just, the second this update comes in, everyone is going to have this turned on, and you're going to have to manually yourself, if you have an Apple device or I guess whatever's related to it, turn this off. So this is impacting many Echo and Ring devices, so your Alexas are going to be doing this by default. You actually need to log on to your account and switch it off. So if you had no idea this update was happening and you have an Alexa, all of a sudden you're now sharing your Wi-Fi and your internet with some other person that's next door who may know about this and be doing some nefarious things that now the FBI is knocking on your door when they should be knocking on their door. The idea behind Amazon's Sidewalk is to take a slice of your broadband. By the way, Amazon is not paying your internet provider, as far as I'm aware, as well as other forms from others on your street to form a communal low bandwidth network to extend wireless coverage, and I'm sure also to have a camera in every bedroom, every bathroom. Continued. As the company explains, Sidewalk helps simplify new device setup, extending the working range of low bandwidth devices and helps devices stay online even when they are outside of the range of the user's home Wi-Fi. So they're basically like, this is just a repeater. I promise, nothing more. Repeaters themselves can have issues. Pooling bandwidth can unlock unique benefits in your device. It's like an RPG. Look at that. You unlocked unique benefit, number 3. And when more neighbors participate, the network becomes stronger. They're like, oh no, we're just going to make a mesh network. You're going to pay for the cost of running the electricity. You're going to pay for the bandwidth. And you're actually going to buy the device that does it, but we're going to get the benefits. We're Amazon. Go screw yourself. Additional radio technologies inside Amazon devices can also extend the Sidewalk network to provide users with a proprietary Amazon network. Oh, that sounds like that's not going to be taken advantage of in 5 years or now. Gee. To power their devices beyond the limitation of their own homes. Clearly, access to home broadband enables those local radio technologies to reach Amazon cloud services. So they're just like, we're going to make sure we connect to the internet, whether you like it or not, and you have to do all this work to opt out of these systems, which most people, again, have no idea this is even happening, so they're not going to opt out, and so they basically let themselves be infiltrated in real time. Setting aside the usual security and privacy risks, the fact that home network access is enabled by default has, like, okay, I'll even say, just to give, like, I wouldn't even agree with this, but just to give some halfway, if they had done this as an opt-in, you have to manually turn this setting on for your devices, I'd go, okay. In America right now, as we're configured, that's a do you thing, but this is not what that is. This is not what people bought, and these are not settings they expected in their devices. So ET cybersecurity expert Jake Moore's advice is for Amazon's users, quote, to really think about the need for such requirements and to err on the side of caution by manually turning it off, which again is a few steps. And if you've learned anything about the ubiquity and convenience of, and this is I love what Jerome talks about on, if it's more than 2 button taps away, most people are never going to do it. Yep. Amazon have made this default opt-in feature, which would be a dangerous recipe for disaster, not knowing what these devices are really connected to. So congratulations, everyone. If you have an Amazon smart device, you're now connected to who knows what, unless you watch this or someone else talk about this, and you've opted out of this thing that you've been opted into. Congratulations.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, Jeff Bezos still trying to conquer the world. I mean,
and not even correctly. Like, we're trying to conquer the world, but we want to do it for you guys. He wants to do it to, like, get a bigger mansion.
Yeah, and the quote Miguel H. From the live stream, LOL, I remember when Amazon was just another online bookstore that advertised on Yahoo. Whatever happened to those charming days of the Yahoo and Amazon bookstore? But now, then it just exploded out of control.
By the way, I want to get eHeller. eHeller has me dead to rights, but you clicked OK on the user agreement.
Yeah, and I still have Amazon.
Me of the South Park.
I mean,
Centipede.
Because the thing is, like, I have Amazon Prime, right? And the thing is, like, I use that for movie reviews sometimes here and there. But it's just like I look at it, and I haven't been on Amazon for a very long time because I've used like Netflix or anywhere else just to check out movies or shows or anything else like that. And it's just it's really depressing that it's come down to this, because all traditional forms of media are now being streamed, being viewed online and streamed and everything else. And people have now gotten used to the fact that gone are the days of the traditional like stores, because now everything is quick and instantaneous.
I remember we had a discussion a while back, it was with our other team, where I was talking about how I watch The Boys only on YouTube. People that posted or react to it, because I'm not going to go to Amazon.
Well, I see, because I haven't ordered anything ever since I've this whole thing with Amazon's been going on. I haven't used it or supported it at all. And like same thing with the Prime, because I used to use it for movie reviews, because that's how we saw Chernobyl. That's how we were able to watch a few other things. And I have not been on that site at all, period.
And it's crazy that Amazon has so much control over so much. It's like one thing that we actually, just to be completely transparent, we have actually installed a new device a couple days ago, because it's a 4-to-1 HDMI splitter, because we run so many monitors that have to project the same screen in the studio for everything to work. And we had an old splitter that I got before, actually when we first built the place before the pandemic, and I was able to go out and get it. And everything's, it's very hard to get everything now, so we had to spend about $25 on Amazon to do it. But I will say, one thing that I think you can do if you have a Prime account that I think balances it all out, and it's one thing I do with my personal stuff if I buy off Amazon. Amazon has effectively a 1% profit margin that they have going for them. So every time an item is returned with Amazon, they actually lose money on that entire purchase. So I make sure that at a certain metric that something might be wrong with this thing, and I might just have to send it back, and Amazon will have to comp the shipping, which means they've lost money on me that month. Good. Something to think about.
Yeah. So, and also Monarch says Bezos put local bookstores out of business too. And that is very, very true. Yahoo, Amazon, eBay in the 90s. Yeah. Oh my God. So much has changed to where it's gotten out of control, and it's so sick that this is where our shopping and our entertainment has evolved into, because all these streaming sites, everything online, like now, all these streaming sites, like now everything's so interconnected that there's no going back to the, late 90s, early 2000s, because again, it's this thing called progress, but this progress came at a heavy price to where people are being abused by these major tech corporations. And we have a political system that's not doing anything about it.
Yeah, again, I just want to remind people, Kid talks a lot about a general strike, and I like being more surgical on these things. Amazon is one of those companies that has an incredibly low operating budget. They lose or gain it, but they're around a 1% profit. Just remind yourselves that if you're ever protesting Amazon, the best way to hit them is by hitting that very small profit margin. Like I've said before, if you accidentally have your car break down and take and block an entire off ramp that Amazon needs or coincidentally uses for its distribution sector, if you do that for long enough, you've cost that distribution center's profit for that day. It's like a greyhound, like the racing dog. They have like just skin, bones, and the muscle they need to operate. They have nothing else. The second you don't feed them for a few days, it's very, very bad. Amazon's very much like that. So just keep in mind. I'm not saying anything.
And there's something else to mention too. Like with all these streaming services and everything else that's online, there will be a breaking point because again, if the American people do not get a bailout, to all these major tech companies, who do you think is going to be watching your stuff if no one has any money? Because you could have all the fancy, shiny bells and whistles on your fancy streaming site. People don't got money. Hey, you ain't getting jack. And that's why the American people need a bailout. But these corporations chose to be like, oh, no, we need a bailout. And that's what happened.
Amazon sucked up an enormous amount of the middle class. People that used to have a hat store or hardware store.
Yeah.
Don't. We talk about Amazon's growth, but we never talk about how much more that they've sucked out of the economy. I don't know what the number is for every dollar Amazon makes more. How much do local businesses lose?
Well, actually, hold on. There is some good news because there's been some interesting articles today because today is Black Friday, and apparently Black Friday sales are...
Yeah, well, Lainey already talked about that on how many Thursdays ago it happened that people mostly finished their holiday shopping last month.
Like last month, because again, we're not certain about where our next paycheck is coming, or if people still have a job. So we're going to see things change, and our wonderful happy-go-lucky politicians and these people in the top 1% are going to be waking up to a nightmare, especially if you have 30 to 40 million Americans evicted out of their homes, if you have a growing number of unemployment. There's going to be a breaking point of what people can take, and so. Now's the time to really step up and fight for that better future.
And I think that one thing we can all agree on at this point, connecting everything together to end this segment, is don't buy Alexas for your friends.
Don't do it. Alexa's is spying in on you. Do not trust the artificial intelligence. The men of iron are coming. The men of iron are here.
I was going to... okay. Yeah, that's a thing. You're about 25,000 years too early, but go ahead. I just want to say to people... If another thing you might be able to do is if you see a friend who has an Alexa that they use in their house, maybe, oh no, the juice spilled. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Don't give the CIA satisfaction.
Yeah.